Hello. Today we will explore 10 inspiring quotes by Franklin Delano Roosevelt that can change your perspective on life. 1. The quote, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself," highlights how fear can become the greatest obstacle to progress and rational action. Franklin D. Roosevelt suggests that fear often magnifies problems, making challenges appear larger and more threatening than they truly are. When people allow fear to dominate their thinking, it can lead to hesitation, panic, and poor decisions. Instead of focusing on solutions, individuals become trapped in anxiety about possible negative outcomes. Roosevelt's message encourages people to confront difficulties with calmness, courage, and determination. Fear itself does not solve problems. It only prevents people from taking the necessary steps to overcome them. By controlling fear and maintaining confidence, individuals and societies can face crises more effectively and work toward improvement. In essence, the quote teaches that the greatest danger is not the challenge we face, but the fear that stops us from acting wisely and bravely in response to it. 2. The quote, "Happiness lies not in the mere possession of money, it lies in the joy of achievement and the thrill of creative effort," highlights the difference between material wealth and true fulfillment. Franklin D. Roosevelt suggests that money alone cannot bring lasting happiness. While financial resources can provide comfort and security, they do not automatically create a sense of purpose or satisfaction. Real happiness comes from meaningful accomplishments and the excitement of working toward goals. When people invest effort, creativity, and passion into their work or personal projects, they experience pride in their progress and fulfillment in their achievements. The process of creating, improving, and overcoming challenges gives life deeper meaning than simply owning possessions. This idea encourages individuals to focus on growth, contribution, and creativity, rather than only material success. In essence, Roosevelt teaches that happiness is found in the journey of effort and achievement, where personal development and purposeful work bring a deeper and more lasting sense of joy. 3. The quote, "The future belongs to those who prepare for it today," emphasizes the importance of responsibility, planning, and consistent effort in shaping tomorrow. Malcolm X suggests that the future is not something that simply happens by chance. It is built through the decisions and actions people take in the present. Every skill learned, every goal pursued, and every step taken toward improvement becomes part of the foundation for future success. Those who invest time in education, discipline, and personal growth position themselves to take advantage of opportunities when they appear. On the other hand, ignoring preparation or relying only on luck often leads to missed chances and unfulfilled potential. The quote encourages people to think ahead and recognize that today's habits and efforts determine tomorrow's possibilities. In essence, Malcolm X teaches that a better future is created through dedication, learning, and purposeful action taken in the present moment. 4. The quote, "The test of our progress is not whether we add more to the abundance of those who have much," expresses the idea that true social progress should not be measured by how much wealth or advantage the already successful gain. Franklin D. Roosevelt suggests that a fair and healthy society should evaluate its development by how it treats its most vulnerable members. If economic growth only benefits those who already have resources and opportunities, then such progress is incomplete and unbalanced. Real advancement occurs when improvements in society help those who struggle the most, people facing poverty, inequality, or limited opportunities. A community becomes stronger when prosperity is shared and when systems are designed to support everyone, not only the privileged. The quote encourages leaders and citizens to think about justice, fairness, and collective responsibility. In essence, Roosevelt teaches that progress should be measured by how effectively society lifts those who have the least, ensuring dignity, opportunity, and support for all. 5. The quote, "The defense of human rights is the foundation of freedom," emphasizes the idea that true freedom cannot exist without the protection and respect of basic human rights. Jimmy Carter suggests that rights such as freedom of speech, equality before the law, dignity, and personal safety form the core structure of a just society. When these rights are protected, individuals are able to express themselves, pursue opportunities, and live without fear of oppression or discrimination. However, if human rights are ignored or violated, freedom becomes fragile and limited, because people lose the ability to make independent choices and participate fully in society. Defending human rights requires constant effort from governments, institutions, and citizens alike. Laws, policies, and social attitudes must work together to ensure that everyone is treated fairly and with respect. In essence, Carter's message is that freedom is not simply a political concept. It is built upon the active protection of human rights, which guarantees dignity, justice, and equal opportunity for all people. 6. The quote, "We cannot always build the future for our youth, but we can build our youth for the future," emphasizes the importance of education, character, and preparation in shaping the next generation. Franklin D. Roosevelt suggests that no one can fully control or predict what the future will look like. The world constantly changes due to new technologies, social developments, and global challenges. Because of this uncertainty, it is impossible to design a perfect future environment for young people. However, what society can do is prepare youth with the knowledge, values, and skills they need to face whatever the future brings. By teaching critical thinking, responsibility, creativity, and resilience, adults help young people become capable of adapting to change and solving new problems. The quote highlights the responsibility of parents, teachers, and communities to invest in the development of youth. In essence, Roosevelt's message is that the best way to secure a strong future is not by trying to control it, but by raising confident, educated, and capable individuals who will shape it themselves. 7. The quote, "Democracy cannot succeed unless those who express their choice are prepared to choose wisely," emphasizes the critical role of informed and responsible citizens in a functioning democracy. Franklin D. Roosevelt suggests that democratic systems rely on the participation of people who understand the issues, evaluate candidates and policies thoughtfully, and make decisions based on knowledge rather than emotion, ignorance, or manipulation. If voters are unprepared or misinformed, elections may favor short-term popularity over long-term welfare, weakening governance and public trust. Successful democracy depends not only on freedom to vote, but also on the ability to exercise that freedom wisely, balancing personal interests with the common good. Education, critical thinking, and civic awareness are therefore essential to empower citizens to make choices that benefit society as a whole. In essence, Roosevelt teaches that democracy thrives when voters are informed, conscientious, and engaged, because the quality of collective decision-making ultimately determines the success and stability of democratic governance. 8. The quote, "In politics, nothing happens by accident. If it happens, you can bet it was planned that way," emphasizes the idea that political events and decisions are typically the result of careful planning, strategy, and intent rather than random chance. Franklin D. Roosevelt suggests that governments, leaders, and institutions often act deliberately, with specific objectives and consequences in mind. Policies, laws, and public actions are usually designed to achieve particular goals, influence public opinion, or maintain power, even if the planning is subtle or behind the scenes. This perspective encourages citizens to critically evaluate political developments rather than assume outcomes are coincidental or unimportant. Understanding that actions in politics are intentional helps people hold leaders accountable, anticipate consequences, and participate more effectively in civic life. In essence, Roosevelt teaches that political awareness requires recognizing patterns, motives, and strategies, because nothing in governance is purely accidental. Most events reflect deliberate choices and planning. 9. The quote, "True individual freedom cannot exist without economic security and independence," emphasizes that personal liberty is closely linked to financial stability and self-sufficiency. Franklin D. Roosevelt suggests that freedom is not only a legal or political concept, it also requires the ability to meet basic needs and make independent choices. Without economic security, individuals are vulnerable to exploitation, pressure, or dependence on others, limiting their capacity to act freely and pursue opportunities. Economic independence allows people to exercise their rights, make meaningful decisions, and engage fully in society without fear of deprivation. The quote highlights that democracy and freedom are incomplete if citizens lack access to education, work, and resources that enable self-reliance. In essence, Roosevelt teaches that true freedom involves both rights and practical means to live with dignity, demonstrating that liberty is inseparable from economic well-being and the ability to support oneself independently. 10. The quote, "Peace, like charity, begins at home," emphasizes that lasting harmony and goodwill start with individuals and families before extending to society at large. Franklin D. Roosevelt suggests that true peace is not only the absence of conflict between nations, but also the presence of understanding, kindness, and respect in everyday life. Just as charitable actions begin by helping those closest to us, family, neighbors, and community, peace begins with the way we treat the people around us. By cultivating patience, tolerance, and empathy in our immediate relationships, we create the foundation for broader social harmony. Ignoring conflicts, fostering resentment, or neglecting personal responsibility can ripple outward, contributing to tension and division in society. The quote reminds us that global or societal peace depends on small, personal acts of fairness, compassion, and cooperation. In essence, Roosevelt teaches that meaningful peace is built from the ground up, and that every individual can contribute by starting within their own home and circle of influence. If you enjoyed these quotes by Franklin Delano Roosevelt, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss new videos.